Hi! Cinema is the stage where life's emotions, conflicts and truths are magnified, allowing us to confront our inner selves, said Vijay Tendulkar. I agree. In simple terms, cinema becomes more engrossing when it is relatable. We hope you connect with our show every week. I'm Atika Farooqui and you're watching Now Showing. Here are the highlights. A deafening silence grips you at the end of this bizarre espionage thriller where a deaf-mute person is suspected of being a spy. We review Atul Sabharwal's intense spy thriller Berlin. Ishwak Singh talks about what it's like to play a deaf-mute person in Berlin, and Aparshakti Khurana and Rahul Bose on acting and more. Yet another Amir Khan Productions film is India's official pick for the Oscars. We bring you a throwback chat with Lapata Ladies director Kiran Rao on what can make a woman totally lapata. And meet Raghav Khanna, the man who took us into the life of Modern Master SS Rajamouli for Netflix in a special series focused on cinema maestros. Let's begin the show with the review of Berlin that is released on ZEE5. Set in the frosty winters of 1993, Delhi, Berlin transports viewers to a time when India was navigating the geopolitical aftershocks of the Soviet Union's collapse, while the American dream remained a distant ideal. Directed by Atul Sabharwal, known for his layered storytelling in films like Aurangzeb, Class of '83, etc., Berlin blends espionage with psychological depth, offering a fresh and introspective take on the spy thriller genre. At the center of the story is Ashok, played by Ishwak Singh, a deaf and mute orphan working as a waiter at Berlin Cafe, a covert meeting ground for intelligence officers in Delhi's Connaught Place. A Russian President Boris Yeltsin's state visit approaches, the tension in the intelligence community heightens, and Ashok is suddenly arrested on suspicion of espionage. The crux of the film revolves around Ashok's mysterious role. Whether he is an innocent bystander or a key player in the dangerous conspiracy remains uncertain. To untangle the enigma, intelligence agencies enlist Pushkin Verma, played by Aparshakti Khurana, a sign language expert, to interpret Ashok's cryptic gestures. What follows is a psychological game of cat and mouse as Pushkin digs deeper into Ashok's world, uncovering layers of betrayal, blackmail and moral compromise. Berlin takes a detour from the usual external espionage threats, instead focusing on the internal power struggles between two rival intelligence agencies, the Bureau and the Wing, vying for dominance. The question of Ashok's innocence takes a backseat as the real tension emerges from the bureaucratic rivalries and the moral complexities of intelligence work, the domain. Sabharwal's direction elevates Berlin beyond a standard spy thriller. Instead of focusing on predictable India-Pakistan conflicts, the film opts for a nuanced narrative that explores internal politics, power and personal ambition within the intelligence community. Sabharwal's world of spies is one where the enemy isn't always a foreign agent, but the very system these officers are supposed to uphold. The real intrigue lies not in Ashok's guilt or innocence, but in the way ambition and power distort the truth, affecting those who least expect it. Visually, Berlin is a masterpiece. Cinematographer Shri Datta Namjoshi uses Delhi's brutalist architecture as a metaphor for the characters' emotional isolation and paranoia. The city, with its fog-covered streets and cold, angular buildings, becomes a character in itself, reinforcing the film's themes of loneliness and moral ambiguity. The sparse, muted color palette and the raw portrayal of 1990s Delhi create an immersive, atmospheric experience, pulling viewers into a world filled with unseen threats, quiet tension. Sound plays an equally crucial role in the film's storytelling. Sound designer Anthony Rubin expertly uses silence to mirror Ashok's internal world, immersing the audience in his perspective. Every ambient sound is meticulously placed, heightening the tension and adding layers to the thriller's suspense. Krishna Kumar's score is understated yet effective, complementing the film's tone without overpowering the narrative. The performances are what truly elevate Berlin. Aparshakti Khurana shines as Pushkin Verma, the reluctant interpreter who becomes entangled in the dangerous web of espionage. His journey from a passive bystander to an active participant is subtle but impactful. Ishwak Singh's portrayal of Ashok, relying solely on expressions and body language, is nothing short of remarkable. His silent performance communicates more than words ever could, making Ashok a compelling and enigmatic character. Rahul Bose as the manipulative intelligence officer Jagdish brings a quiet menace to his role, though his character could have been explored in more depth, I could say. While the film excels in atmosphere, character dynamics, it slightly falters in the second half. The climax, while surprising, doesn't quite pack the emotional punch expected from a high-tension thriller such as this. The pacing could have been tighter, especially in the final act, where the momentum slows before the reveal. Despite these minor flaws, Berlin stands out as a smart, well-crafted espionage thriller. Sabharwal's attention to detail, nuanced characters, and exploration of moral complexity make the film much more than a standard spy drama. With stellar performances and a richly textured setting, Berlin leaves audiences questioning the nature of truth, loyalty, and patriotism, making it a significant contribution to Hindi cinema's evolving landscape of intelligent thrillers. I suggest you do make time for this one. And sticking with Berlin, not too long ago we had an insightful chat with the trio, Ishwak Singh, Aparshakti Khurana and Rahul Bose. The reticent Singh opened up about the challenge of shutting out the sense of sound to play his deaf and mute character. Rahul Bose speaks about his character in this film, and Aparshakti Khurana says, shouldn't he be given a raise in his roles since he's doing so well in the OTT and film series? I agree. And here are the three talking about so much and more.
I think the conflict in Berlin is very nuanced. It's not good person, bad person. He's going to ruin the world, he's going to save the world.
ये as an audience भी जब आप फिल्म देखेंगे, I wouldn't really say only for Pushkin. आप हर एक की बैक स्टोरी जानना चाहेंगे, अशोक की, सोंधी की, पुष्किन की, लोग कहाँ से आए हैं, क्यों हैं, कैसे हैं.
You're taking away a sense, one of the five senses, and I'm supposed to, act authentically, realistically, assuming that there is no sound while there is. It is very tricky. It was an eye opener for me because जब आप किसी नई दुनिया के बारे में जानते हो तो अगर आप उसमें से चाहो तो बहुत कुछ आपको वो देती है, and you can take it as a life lesson.
We are playing cat and mouse with the audience.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't know where this is going, who's right, who's wrong, what the motivations of these people are.
नहीं, अपारशक्ति से तो हो पाएगा. ऐसी कोई चीज़ नहीं है जो अपार ना कर पाए.
Love you, Paji.
But a performance is reflective of your co-actor. So whatever, if you think anything that's worthwhile in the performance, that is that you find interesting, a big credit goes to him because I was drawing a lot from the energy. If I wasn't getting, what I wanted, and to sort of unexpected things, that because I think a good performance is also something that even you're not expecting. So I really enjoyed it. Good or bad, of course, the audience will decide. But so many things. It was the wicked smile came from the innocence that I saw in his eyes. That तुझे कुछ नहीं पता है. You know nothing of the lies and deceit of this world.
Alec Guinness played Professor Godbole in Passage to India. He played this professor, an Indian professor. Now all of us thought it was absurd because he had brown face. And he played it. Is that where you draw the line and say, no, please cast somebody Indian, right? Please cast somebody at least of the same ethnicity. And then you say, oh, but can somebody not play a deaf mute? Do you have to get a person who is hearing impaired to play the character that Ishwak played? Or should we get an actor to do it? It's a very, very tricky ethical ground that the world is still figuring out. We haven't figured it out as yet. It's very tricky. So I can't give the answer because there's no yes or no. Each person has to figure it out for themselves. Each industry has to figure it out for themselves. You should have in your contract.
I don't know,
2%
man. Honestly,
of the box office.
Of the box office collection? Oh my God, we want to make another film out of it?
Sequel.
I think, that's not something I ever thought about. we are still in the space where we are enjoying the success and the unprecedented numbers. And I don't think so, the kind of actor or human being I am, I don't think so money is going to cross my mind, because not that I have it in plenty, only because that's not something I came to this city for. I came to this city because I was getting emotionally attached to a craft step by step. It's not a craft which came to me when I was a kid. I didn't ever think about becoming an actor till the longest period of my time. Even when I started my career, मैंने theatre join दिल्ली में इसलिए किया because one of the sales heads of my radio station said कि यार पता है अपार, मैं तेरा शो सुन रहा था आज, मज़ा बहुत आ रहा था, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि जब मैं तेरे साथ बैठ के लंच करता हूँ ना, तेरे वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशन में कुछ अलग चीज़ें हैं जो तू रेडियो पे कर सकता है. इफ़ यू वांट टू call the shots on your voice modulation yourself, go and join theatre, and there'll be few vocal exercises which they'll make you do. उससे आपको ज़्यादा confidence आएगा आपकी voice पे. That is why I joined theatre in Delhi. And touch wood, अभी भी now that I've started doing films and by chance theatre करने का समय नहीं मिलता है, तब भी जब मैं एक next script पे जाता हूँ, एक से दूसरी पे जाता हूँ, कभी ये नहीं आता है दिमाग में कि मुझे इसमें पैसे कम कितने मिल रहे हैं. हाँ, हो सकता है वो फिफ्थ बॉक्स शायद हो सकता है, लेकिन सबसे पहला थॉट यही होता है कि उसमें क्रिएटिवली क्या चीज़ मिल रही है. सो इवन आफ्टर द सक्सेस ऑफ द फिल्म, दैट्स नॉट समथिंग आई एम लुकिंग एट ऑल.
And now let's go to the Oscars. Yes, no outright Indian feature film has won an Oscar. But if there is one company that has come very close, it is Aamir Khan Productions. Yes, Khan and his team have a penchant for picking endearing stories that resonate with both local and international audiences. Don't you agree? Lapata Ladies is the second film from Aamir Khan Productions to be chosen as India's official representation for the Oscars. Filmmaker Kiran Rao is the driving force behind this social satire. At the time of its release, I had the pleasure of chatting with Rao, who revealed that former husband Aamir Khan wanted to play Inspector Manohar in Lapata Ladies. This and lots more. एक सीन में द गर्ल हु गेट्स लापता, वो जिस औरत के पास आके रहती हैं, वो औरत वो बहुत अच्छी बात बोलती हैं उस लड़की से कि तुम्हें कहाँ जाना है, शादी के बाद तुम कहाँ जा रही थी विदा होके, कुछ पता है? बोली पता नहीं. तो उसने बोला ए तेरा फेवरेट हीरो कौन है? कहता है सलमान खान. कहाँ रहता है? वो गैलेक्सी अपार्टमेंट बांद्रा. उसने बोला उसको अपने फेवरेट हीरो का भी पता मालूम है, और तुम जहाँ ससुराल जा रही थी तुम्हें उसका पता नहीं मालूम.
लड़कियों को समझाया जाता है कि एवरीबडी एल्स नोज व्हाट्स बेस्ट फॉर देम, कि आपकी पेरेंट्स को पता है, कम्युनिटी को पता है, रिलीजियस लीडर्स को पता है कि आपके लिए क्या अच्छा है.
हाँ, आप चुप रहिए बस.
आपको बस वो करना चाहिए क्योंकि सबने ठान लिया है कि यही आपके लिए ठीक है. तो उसको क्वेश्चन करने की भी इजाजत कभी होती नहीं है. तो इस लड़की ने कभी सोचा ही नहीं कि होगा अच्छा ही होगा, जहाँ भेज रहे हैं वहीं चली जाऊंगी या जो भी है. और उसको वैसे प्यार है अपने हस्बैंड से फिर भी. तो ये एक क्वेश्चनिंग मंजूमाई बहुत फनली करती हैं कि इस छोटू जहाँ उसका पता है जहाँ वो कभी जाने वाला ही नहीं है. हाँ. लेकिन तुमको जहाँ पूरी जिंदगी रहना है उसका तुमको पता नहीं पता.
There was a scene, उसमें वो कहती है लड़की जो अपने पति से अलग हो गई है, जुदा हो गई है, खो गई है, वो मंजूमाई जो कि शी इज अ टी स्टॉल ओनर एट अ रेलवे स्टेशन, उनसे कहती है अगर मैं मिल भी गई अपने पति को तो क्या वो मुझे अपनाएगा? एंड till this point probably we all were thinking the same thing कि क्या वो अपनाएगा? And Manjumai almost like a smack on her face metaphorically she says no, सवाल ये है कि क्या तुम उसे अपनाओगी, बिकॉज वो तुम्हें छोड़कर चला गया.
It's also a question of making yourself a priority in your life. Even the most urban women or the people like who live in like where we call liberal or society which is evolved. We always put ourselves last. Our families come first, our parents and our children and our work and all the expectations. But where are you in all this? Why are you not the center of your universe? Tomorrow if I had put say a Janvi or an Alia in these roles, I'm sure they would have played the roles perfectly well. It's not like they would have any trouble playing a village girl. But it's just that the audience also connects with them in a very different way and has a different expectation from them. You know, so for them also in some way it's a baggage being a star. You know, having said that, look at Alia in Punjab, Ulta Punjab. What a transformation. They can do any role, ऐसा तो नहीं है. But इस film में हमें लगा कि actually to buy into this little conceit that दो लड़कियां अदला बदली हो गई है, कहीं चले गए, मिलती नहीं है. तो to keep that sort of real confusion and mess that's happening and to be able to surprise the audience.
The confusion actually is a character in a film. What is Amir doing in the film? Why is he not in the film?
He really wanted to be in the film. And he did an excellent audition also for the role of Manohar. He wanted to play Ravi Kishan's role and he did really well. I mean, Amir is one of those people who can
do anything,
mold himself into any role, including, you know, when he becomes 100 kilos heavier for Dangal. So, the idea was how much would he in some way demand that audience's expectation of like doing something. Not demand, but like he, without even wanting to do it, an audience has a certain expectation of a big star and we wanted to free that character of any such pressure because I wanted Manohar to be highly unpredictable, which he is. You know, he goes on to whatever, subvert your expectations.
And you know, this is लोगों को लगता है बस काम 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 ही जिंदगी है. अरे जिंदगी भी तो जिंदगी है.
Correct.
What about that? What about soaking in the sun and bathing in an ocean, or just running, taking a walk by the beach and watching the flowers, watching your children grow?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of pressure that we put on achievement in terms of like, you know, उसने इतनी किताबें लिख दी और इतने films बना दिए या इतना fast भागा. You know, या इतना जो भी है, there's a sort of pressure of achievement and also achieving it young.
Yes.
अरे 20 साल की उम्र में उसने ऐसी film बना.
Correct.
So there's kind of almost like saying like, listen, if you've not done it by the time you're 20 or 30 or 40, then forget about it. But I think there's a lot to be said for, you know, how life influences you, how you. It's about exploration. It's about finding yourself in this journey. It's about expressing yourself.
So what have you found?
I found I'm a comic. I enjoy comedy.
Yes.
I found that I don't like to be pressured, and the pressure I put on myself is enough. I don't need other people to say, "Arey, आपने 10 साल लगा दिए, 12 साल लगा दिए." It doesn't bother me as much as the pressure I put on myself. So I'm learning to deal with that. I think I've also found that it's kind of important to just enjoy the little moments.
Kiran, may you never be lapata. May you always find your soul, your heart, your voice, as you've been doing, and also continue to enjoy life beyond all the pressures of the accolades and the achievements and awards. Thanks so much.
Thank you. That was lovely. Great fun.
It's time for a break, but return soon as we chat with someone who has experienced the world, the inner world of Modern Master SS Rajamouli, of course the man behind Bahubali franchise and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. SS Rajamouli, the Bahubali SS Rajamouli, is undoubtedly the most celebrated filmmaker we have today. The most revered one too, and admired one too. And if there is one person outside his family who can claim to know him better than you and I, it is producer and filmmaker Raghav Khanna, the creator of Raja Rasoyi Aur अन्य Kahaniyan and more. Had the pleasure of directing Modern Masters, a documentary film on the life of SS Rajamouli. In a special chat with me, Khanna shared his experience of directing the creator of Bahubali and RRR and discussed why making documentaries remains a challenge in India. Like still, yes, it is. Raghav, how much time you took to shoot the whole thing and put it together?
It took us upwards of 6 months just to film it. And when I say 6 months, unlike fiction, we weren't shooting almost every day. It was scattered across strategic times when one, Rajamouli sir was available. Secondly, when he's campaigning for his film RRR, or there was a certain story beat that we needed to follow. But it wasn't just about filming. There was a lot of preparation that went into before filming. The research, the structuring, the reiterations of that research takes a lot of time.
When you make a documentary on a living legend like Rajamouli, all we know is about what he does on the set and how brilliant he is at his cinematic abilities. You also have to show the personal side of that person. How, as a director, were you able to capture that?
When you're making a film on a person, a living person, a subject, it has to be access driven. I am deeply appreciative of Rajamouli sir and his entire family to trust us and give us that access. The second and the most important part is perhaps winning the trust of your subject, where they should feel comfortable to be natural in front of you. And then it's just about doing thorough research, following your subject, what in the documentary world we call verite filming, where you're actually a fly on the wall.
Just the observer.
Yes, just the observer. But you also have to be extremely mindful that you're not
You're actually
doctoring.
not directing.
The least you can direct is the most you direct.
Yeah.
That you're not doctoring the events that would otherwise unfold. The naturality of it all needs to be retained. That is the fabric of documentary filmmaking.
And what is that outstanding quality about Mr. Rajamouli that you learnt after doing this whole thing with him that we probably don't know about?
I think it reflects very well in Modern Masters, but one thing that I've gone away with as deepest source of inspiration from him is the humility with which he carries his success and the person he is.
Yeah. And you had watched all his works, right?
Yes, it was actually a lot of, when we were working, I was not in India for most part of that time, and there was Anupama ji, there was my co-director Tanvi and the entire team, including the DOP, Nikunj, and what we were doing was we were watching a lot of his films, and then we started finding certain through lines, which was his artistic signature.
Right.
Like the way he celebrates his male heroes. I think nobody else does that in Indian cinema.
They look like gods.
Yes, they do. And then how he stages his action sequence, his panache for world building.
Yeah.
You could see traces and signs of it in his body of work.
Yeah.
And obviously when you've seen RRR, when you've seen Bahubali, and you see his work 15 years before, you realize that that artistic flair was always there, just that the canvas kept on getting bigger.
I watch documentaries very fondly. लेकिन वो culture ही नहीं है इंडिया में documentary का. An average movie seems to be more exciting than a brilliant documentary in terms of content for an average Indian. And that's a despicable state for documentaries.
No, what you rightly said, I will not deny this fact that documentaries were not mainstream. If you look at 10 years ago, documentaries were definitely not considered serious viewing or entertainment-based viewing by Indian audience.
Doordarshan's world.
Correct. There was a certain stigma to it. I think I have to credit streaming at large, where the documentary wave that started internationally on streaming gained wide traction in India. We came from a point where we realized that, okay, we have to marry the best practices of journalism with the highest aesthetics of cinema. And that's where the richest form of documentary storytelling lies.
How nice.
So, a part of the slate I worked on included The Hunt for Veerappan in India, House of Secrets in India, The Elephant Whisperers, which I was the co-commissioner of.
Which got to the Oscars.
Yes, we all are very lucky to have worked on that project. Midnight Asia, that was a pan-Asia nightlife nocturnal documentary series. So we worked across a range of documentaries.
Though The Elephant Whisperers won an Indian production its first ever Oscar, documentary filmmaking still faces challenges in India, as highlighted by Raghav Khanna. However, it is creators like him who can help change people's perspectives on documentaries. We are in. I'm going to catch his documentary recommendations, and so do you, and we hope you can find them engaging too. Goodbye from Atika Farooqui and the entire team here. We'll see you next week.